Stop. If you're an Amazon seller, I can almost promise you that you are leaving money on the table in Q1. Where are you leaving money on the table? Your advertising. This just comes simply from probably not having the correct keywords or trying to target markets in a specific way when it comes to Q1. If you're not a seasonal product that is really, really good in January, February, March, then this is the video for you. You are going to learn all sorts of things about how to actually save some money and generate new sales revenue from your advertising in Q1. So, let's dive in and figure out exactly how we can make sure you're not leaving any money on the table in January, February, or March this year. Let's start off with the most self-explanatory and easy one. Post-holiday shoppers. Now, what are post-holiday shoppers? Typically speaking, Q4 sees the largest surge in overall sales volume on Amazon. Now, when you see that surge, that also means people going into Q1 are likely not going to be buying as much. They're not going to be spending as much money, and you're going to see a decrease in your overall sales. However, there are post-holiday shoppers from things such as gift cards. So gift card trends is a very, very common thing. Think about it. A lot of people on Christmas are going to open up and they're going to get themselves a Visa gift card, an Amazon gift card, or anything in between that they can then go online and start purchasing from. So gift card trends and post-holiday shoppers are very, very common in Q1, and you can target them in a very specific way. Easy ways to go about this is your keyword targeting. Look at incorporating into both your advertising and your SEO some things such as post-holiday sales and New Year promotions. New Year promotions falls off usually about the second, third week of January, but is still a really, really easy way to capture some additional sales going into Q1. Now, secondarily, these are going to be very, very high traffic keywords that aren't super relevant. So you're going to want to make sure that you're adjusting your bids, keeping them low, and really just going after that bottom line of sales. Because otherwise, you're going to end up spending way too much on these keywords, and you're not going to see the actual profit margin with that sales volume that you really should. Make sure that when you are going about this, you are adding in these keywords, you're going after your post-holiday sales, your gift card trend shoppers in Q1. But most of all, make sure you do it in a profitable perspective. Low bid volume for these super high keywords that aren't super niche either. Now, secondarily to this, if you are someone who by chance is selling a supplement, a fitness product, or anything like that that has some huge seasonality, right now is the biggest time of the year for you. So what should you really be doing instead if you're not really super focused on the overall post-holiday sales? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the actual idea of New Year's resolutioners. New Year's resolutioners, I think, is a common thing that everyone knows about, is people who make a New Year's resolution to get healthier, to stop drinking as much, to exercise more, to eat healthier, to diet, all of these things. And a lot of that comes with people spending a lot of money to make these healthy changes in their life and really go forward with their New Year's resolutions. So if you're somebody who sells a fitness product, a supplement, outdoor equipment, or even fitness clothing, anything in between, this is the time of year in which you should really focus on your fitness, health, and your organization. Make sure that overall you're really trying to organize your entire catalog into a way that makes the most sense, to where you can pivot off of different areas of people saying, oh, I need this fitness gear, oh, I need this tank, but oh, you also sell this supplement. These are very easy cross-sale opportunities this time of year, and it's something you really want to focus on. You should also be looking at some extra keywords in your advertising. Look at things such as organization tools. This is something that super often people will be looking for, trying to get into a more organized fashion in the new year. If you're someone who is selling a fitness product, an organization product, or anything like that, this is your time of year. So make sure you're targeting a lot of those longer tail keywords overall, but also ones that are still somewhat relevant but super high search volume. This is going to be your gold mine to really try and pivot and get your product up to the top in ranking. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about what you should be turning off going into January. One of the biggest areas I see people waste money going into the new year is that they forget to turn off their holiday keywords and campaigns. If you're someone who has forgotten or hasn't just gone through yet for your campaigns and your advertisements to go ahead, turn off the Christmas sale, the holiday decor, storage, or anything that has to do with your product having to do with the holidays, go through and turn that off. You are going to see a massive, massive decrease in those type of keywords directly after the Christmas selling season, directly after Q4. This, however, does mean that it's your perfect time to save and recoup a little bit of money. Take the budget that you had from that holiday and push it right towards some of the more relevant Q1 keywords. Again, things such as those post New Year's holiday sales or post sales, New Year promotions, anything like that. Those super, not really niche keywords, but those keywords that are really, really focused around just trying to bring in as much sales volume as possible during this time of the year. Those trends, anything that people with gift cards are doing, any post holiday sales. This is the time to take that holiday campaign, push all that budget into those new campaigns for the New Year promotions. Now that we've set the stage for January and what you should be focused on around that, let's talk a little bit about February. Getting further into the year, what actually matters, what are the big things that you should be focused around for your products and your keywords. Now should you really target going into month 2 of the year when sales are starting to recuperate just a little bit? I think first and foremost, the biggest thing that everyone already knows about is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is the biggest sales holiday in February. You're going to see constant sales from Valentine's within February. Once you get about halfway through February, you're going to see a huge drop off. But it is the time of the year in which if you have a product that can be gifted to someone, a loved one near you, this is the type of time where you should be looking at adding Valentine's keywords into your PPC campaigns. It's a super easy way to go about getting some high volume or high search volume keywords in, more impressions on your product, more views. This is also a time in which I would look at doing some more of some sponsored brands rather than just focused on the sponsored keywords. Sponsored brands is going to get you a little bit better visibility of your product, and especially if you have a very Valentine's gift giving romantic type of product, sponsored brand is going to do amazing for you. So focus a little bit more on that. Focus on your Valentine's keywords going into the beginning of February, and that's going to be essentially the way you kind of boost your sales back up after the post Q1 January slump. Now, for those who are in the north like myself, you probably already know what the next part of this is, and that would be our winter sales edition. Of course, winter sales probably started back in November, but anyone like myself should know that there's a bunch of snow on the ground right now. There is just cold all around, and everyone is freezing and trying to stay indoors, but it also is a perfect time if you have a winter product to really up your overall seasonality for it. So end of season discounts in winter is a huge thing. We're getting back into the springtime. It's late February. People are purchasing right now, but probably come late February, early March, are going to be really going back on those winter sales. So if you have a winter item and you've already seen your top of season, I guess is the best way to put it, then right at the end of February is about the time you should be putting into things such as winter clearance, end of season discounts. These are, again, super high search volume, relevant keywords. They're going to help you when it comes to simple ways of getting people who are just looking for an extra deal or looking for some products in, but not necessarily people who are going to be directly purchasing at this time. This really helps with later remarketing and retargeting as well. You get a lot of those impressions, a lot of those clicks in, can always go back to them. Of course, not all keywords are created equally, and you're going to see some differences based on what your product actually is, especially for things like Valentine's and end of winter discounts. If you don't have a winter product, then end of winter discounts is kind of up in the air, but it does help target deal conscious buyers. Same thing with Valentine's. If you don't have a romantic or gifting product, you're probably not going to see much from those. But again, if you're doing a relatively low bid, it really helps to get those clicks at the very least so that you can kind of boost your overall sales ranking. Crushing February with Valentine's and winter sales seems super easy when you put it into these very small chunks into what you should be targeting. But then we get into the even better time of the year, which is my favorite, March. March marks the time for springing forward into the actual spring season for a lot of people. It also marks happenstance my birthday, which is why I love it so much. But better than that, March is the time of the year in which people are starting to actually repurchase again. It's when you really see the impressions go up on Amazon. It's when people are kind of getting back into the groove of buying again. It's not targeted specifically for any major holidays outside of St. Patrick's Day. And people are just looking at what can I purchase that's going to get me outdoors, It's going to bring me into the spring and the summer season. With that, spring is in the air, and so are your keywords. So you should be putting spring into a lot of your keywords if you have a relevant product for the spring. Think of everything like gardening tools for the spring. Think of outdoor equipment. These are the categories that are really going to do well starting in March. You should be putting things such as spring essentials into your keywords. Now, these are again super high search volume keywords that may not be extremely relevant to your product, but that's why we're going to work on a very low bid strategy so that we can just essentially get some of that impression data, get some of that search volume onto our product, and continue seeing some of that sales increase over time. This isn't meant for everyone, obviously. If you have a product that's very winter oriented or fall oriented, doing things in the spring and doing spring essentials is probably not going to help you a ton. But it is one of those areas that if you have a relatively outdoorsy type product, this is going to be your prime time to hit some of those keywords. Secondarily, if you have a St. Patrick's Day product or a green product in general, throw in those St. Patrick's Day deals into your keywords. Make sure that you are trying to at least capitalize a little bit on it. It's not a huge sales day within March, but it is the only real holiday. And it's really the only time of the year in which you're going to see that kind of impact from it. Now, March really sets the tone overall for what the entire spring season is going to look like, and somewhat even the summer season. This is the time of year in which you really should be focused on building your overall strategy, even going into Q2. It's the last month, Q1. You really need to focus in and see what makes sense and how you're going to really be setting yourself up for success going into the rest of the year. It's the last real opportunity at the beginning of the year to set the tone for the remainder of the year. What does this really mean? Focus on analyzing your keyword strategy. So not only should you analyze what has happened for the beginning of Q1, we should also be analyzing what has happened in Q4, last year, Q3, so on and so forth, and see how your keyword trends were affected with each season. This is what we consider to be seasonality. Every product has some form of seasonality to it. And typically speaking, if you're not a spring product, if you're not a early winter product or a Valentine's product, you probably have your season still coming up. And that is when you really should be analyzing all keyword trends using tools such as Helium 10 for your competitor analysis as well. See what keywords your competitors have in Q1 boosted up more in the off season if it's not currently your season for your type of product. This is going to be the kind of end time to really just hone in and dig down on what makes sense for an overall rest of year strategy. To really wrap everything up, the biggest thing you should take away from this video is this. Every single season has some form of product that does extremely well, but that doesn't mean even if it's not your season for your product that you can't capitalize on some of the things going on. Again, we have post-holiday sales, we have New Year's resolutioners, we have Valentine's products, we have winter discounts, we have spring essentials, we have St. Patrick's Day as well. There is a million things in Q1 that you can look at targeting that are super high search volume just to get some additional sales volume and really start to understand where your product stands from a market as a whole. You should also, again, still be looking at your competitors. It's not spying or cheating, but it is one of those things that you should always be doing to understand what the market looks like around you. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below if you found any specific area in this or if you have any questions around specific keywords you should be targeting in Q1. We're going to be doing more and more videos around our PPC Q1 strategy, so make sure you stick around for some more.